Priom as as uh, uh, as sorry, just forgot your name. Anna. As Anna introduced me, I have completed my master's in psycholinguistics from the University of York in 2015, and then I actually got back to my country and taught at the university for 3.5 years. So it's an English medium university, and I actually developed my PhD topic from the experience of teaching English in a country where English is a foreign language. The first language of the students and teachers is Bangla. So the title is Language Alternation to Scaffold Learning in EMI Classrooms. So research in English medium instruction context has claimed that the teachers and learners draw on their first language to scaffold learning. Along the same line, my research investigates the role of L1 in English medium lectures at one of the Bangladeshi EMI universities. So Bangladesh is a South Asian monolingual country with multilingual policy. The Constitution of People's Republic of Bangladesh adopted Bangla as the state language. Although the Constitution didn't mention anything regarding the status of English, the national education policy recognizes its usage as a media of instruction in the educational context. So this is the location of my country on the world map, and you can see we are surrounded by India in both sides, and we do have neighbors, Bhutan and Myanmar. This is the national education policy, which basically says that the medium of instruction is Bangla, but the educational institution can also use English. And the national education policy, it also writes that the Bangla will be the medium of instruction predominantly in most of the educational institutions, but they can also use English alongside Bangla. So English medium instruction in higher education was first introduced in Bangladesh in 1992. Not very long. And North South University was the first private university to introduce English medium instruction in Dhaka, Bangladesh. Dhaka is the capital of Bangladesh. So this is the policy documents of the North South University, which states that English is the medium of instruction. So the university basically offers remedial courses to the students who are attending that university because students are not adequately prepared to start their undergraduate degree in medium of instruction. So as a result, the teachers and the students draw on their first language to scaffold learning. So students attending this institution come from educational backgrounds where the medium of instruction was Bangla, and they are considered emergent bilinguals. Emergent bilinguals are those who are basically transitioning from one system, one educational system to another educational system. So I have two research questions. So the first research question is, how do lecturers and learners at this university cope with the demands of teaching or learning in a medium that they have not been adequately prepared for? Is language alternation used as a scaffolding strategy? And my second research question is, if yes, what forms, shapes, and interactional sequence does language alternation adopt? In this presentation, I'll present the findings of my first research question. My second research question is about the discourse structures, which is the second and third findings chapters of my PhD. But I quite believe that that's going to be very long to present today. So I will only be talking about the first research question. So scaffolding. When you hear the word scaffolding, I mean, you have a kind of mental image of as such. So, I mean, it denotes a temporary structure erected to provide temporary support during the construction, maintenance, and repair buildings. But in the pedagogy, scaffolding means, it refers to the momentary support provided by the teacher to assist learners in completing an assigned task. So the methodological framework is linguistic ethnography and interactional sociolinguistics. And data collection, field notes, and data is classroom recordings interview. I'll be presenting my interview findings today in this presentation. So 23 semi-structured retrospective interviews were conducted with the participants in person at the Case University. For analyzing interview data, I conducted thematic analysis. So theory of language choice. Most of them know that translanguaging is very much debatable nowadays, and it has like multimodal aspects. So to be neutral, to be out of danger, I have chosen language alternation, which is a more neutral and risk-free terminology. So I have like 3 groups of results: teacher's opinion regarding language alternation, students' opinion regarding language alternation, and community members' opinion regarding language alternation. So the first 2 groups were drawn from the observed recorded classes for interactional analysis. And the third groups are part of the community who attended that university, but not necessarily were part of the observed classes. So teachers' opinion regarding language alternation. Planning scaffolding. According to Dr. S., for ethical consideration, pseudonyms are used while presenting the data, the participants' statements. So according to Dr. S., you cannot expect sophomore undergraduate students to understand terms such as monoparous, nulliparous, and multiparous. So students who are attending that particular university, they didn't encounter such difficult terms in their secondary level. But necessarily at the university level, when they're attending Introduction to Public Health course, they do encounter a lot of difficult terms, which are sometimes not even English. There are a lot of like Greek terminologies in public health. And the teacher needs Bangla, which is the L1, to clarify the content of the lecture. The second teacher, Dr. K, reported, students seldom receive information uniformly when paraphrased even in simple English in comparison to Bangla. Their brain receives and processes information faster in their mother tongue than in a foreign language. Students acquire knowledge spontaneously when explained in their L1, paraphrasing often makes content ambiguous and perplexing, and as a result, it makes the learning instrumental. So teachers are being very careful. They don't want their lecture to be very mechanical. So to add human touch, to show solidarity with the community, they do often switch to Bangla, to scaffold learning. So Bangla, to encourage class participation, according to Dr. S, their incompetence makes them shy and nervous. As a result, they predominantly remain silent. So there is a lot of stigma going on in EMI instruction, even if when the community members they speak L1, so they feel very intimidated by English, and I'm not very happy to say that most of the teachers they do show solidarity with the community. There is a lot of there is lots of talks going on among the students that if they cannot speak English, the teachers think they're not smart. But being smart has nothing to do with speaking English. I do very much recognize the importance of English in the world of globalization. However, we do not use it as a weapon. We must make the learning community inclusive. And we must make the education accessible to everyone. So another teacher, Dr. K, shared an experience with me when I was interviewing him. He said, that incident already happened on that day of interview. A student was asking a question to him, and he said, I do not get you. Can you speak in Bangla so that I can understand your question? And as a result, the student repeated the question in Bangla, and I was surprised. I mean, the teacher was surprised by how befittingly he verbalized his query. His Bangla was quite standard, and the teacher was extremely impressed by his intelligent question. To aid comprehension, so according to Dr. S, he explained term parity by elaborating on the concept in Bangla. So parity can mean equality, but on the context of public health, parity means the ability to conceive. So it is very important to understand the contextual meaning of parity. That means that parity doesn't always mean equality. In the context of public health, parity means the ability to conceive, and he explained that term by using the mother tongue, Bangla. So students' opinion regarding language alternation. Student reported that teachers use Bangla to provide life-relevant examples to clarify newly introduced concepts. They frequently use the terms relatable, engaging, and easy to understand to describe those teachers who use Bangla to support their comprehension. So Bangla as an additional resource. So according to NFFS, that the same is applicable for the term behavior modification. So the teacher was like explaining the term behavior modification, and it wasn't clear to the student. It was only clear to the student when Dr. Ace provided a relatable example in Bangla regarding the reckless behavior of the road cleaners of Bangladesh. They work without safety measures, and they have to modify their behavior in order to prevent accidents. So problem with English designation. One of the participants, NKMS, point out an instance where he had problems with the exact English terms, but the concept was already familiar. He asserted, It was I who asked Dr. S to tell the meaning of circumcision. So the student never heard the English word circumcision. So when the teacher translated the English terms in Bangla, it became very familiar to the student. The student was already familiar with the concept circumcision, but didn't know the English designation. So Bangla as an additional resource, according to the community member, some concepts are better explained in Bangla. It has a different sense. I often find English explanations dry and instrumental. Another participant mentioned, I observed students having problems listening to elaboration in English, but I mainly had problems with specific terms of business. Like he didn't have any problem with the elaboration strategy, but he had problem with specific terms such as supply chain management. So conclusion. This research shows that using Bangla helps students to understand English medium lectures. Therefore, the policy implications can be informedly drawn whether to encourage, tolerate, or else reject the use of Bangla in EMI higher education classrooms. Moreover, this research specifies and adds detail to the often stated claim that in EMI context, L1 can be used as a scaffolding strategy. Many people claim that EMI can be used as a scaffolding strategy, but they do not show in their data that how it is done. So my current research shows that in its function as a scaffolding strategy, L1 works either as an additional resource to usual scaffolding strategies found even in monolingual teaching situations, because in monolingual teaching situations, teachers scaffold, teacher explain, even if they don't switch to another language, or as a scaffold in its own right when students have problems, specific problem with the English designation, but they're already familiar with the concept in Bangla. Right, so these are some possible questions that the audience can ask me, but you may choose not to, can ask other questions as well. Right, these are the references. Gracias.
Thank you so much for your presentation. I see some commonality in the topics and the storyline between the two.